starting lineups for these teams. For Boston University, leading scorer Cedric Hankerson will miss a second straight game with a hamstring issue. For Bucknell, Kimball McKenzie, a recent return to the starting lineup after missing 10 games the first 2 seasons, with back-to-back Patriot League regular season titles, plus the tournament title and an NCAA trip a season ago. Ready to jump it up. Bucknell blue with the orange trim on the road, white with the red numerals and lettering for BU at home. Zach Thomas leading scorer and rebounder in the Patriot League with a first shot attempt and offline.
A little bit of a defensive breakdown there to start for BU, who will play some zone, play some man, but a wide open three, not the way they want to start.
We mentioned that meeting back in early January. Second league game for both, 84-79. The win for Boston in Lewisburg. Tyler Scanlon doing that in that game, and here to start, it's one way BU was successful driving to the bucket effectively against the Bucknell D.
Absolutely. Don't settle for a quick shot. Run some offense. Try to get to the rim, get something easy. You see Joe Jones there. Such a hard-working guy. Their defense going to be a big key here in the half court to start this game.
Max Mahoney picking up the first personal foul of the game. Joe Jones talking about his team trying to have success again. Max Mahoney did wonders in that game in getting Mount of Holland last year's Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year and overall Player of the Year in foul trouble. Fallon only played 18 minutes, just 8 points in that game. Bruce Moore with a chance on the inside, following a couple of attempts, and he'll score.
Can't give him too many opportunities around the basket. He doesn't miss many right-hand hooks there. Offensive rebounding, big for Bucknell on the road.
5th in the Patriot League in scoring at 16 per game, 3rd in rebounding. Got a couple right there in his first bucket. Scanlon again, the sophomore from Chantilly, Virginia, outside of D.C. Electric to the goal.
I like this look here, a little three-quarter court, half-court, little press for BU, and that takes time off the shot clock for Bucknell.
Bruce Moore on the inside, the sophomore from Randallstown, Maryland, gets to.
Best way to beat pressure, pass. Ball fakes and throw the ball ahead. Bucknell, a veteran group.
Bucknell can score it very well. As you see the nifty drive for Walter White, the freshman from Connecticut. He'll shoot a couple. You see the last outings for both of these teams. Bucknell hung 87 on Navy, one of the top defensive teams in the Patriot League, as they won by 20. And for Boston University, they rallied from 16 down on the road to win at Lafayette 75-72. And again, that was without Cedric Hankerson, the team's leading scorer.
Let's not forget this BU team went into Lewisburg and beat Bucknell earlier in the year, January 2nd, and since then been playing very well, found a way to win on the road. And Bucknell, a veteran group, but BU got some young faces.
Only losses in league play for the Terriers. To Loyola by 3 on the road in Baltimore, and the last place American at home here by 11. Joe Jones's club has won its last 2 to be nipping at the heels of the Bison top the Patriot League standings. Fallon with those hook shots, so deadly.
When you are playing post defense against Fallon, you've got to make him come back to his left hand. Defensive breakdown that time by Mahoney.
So not a Fallon already with a couple of buckets, and now the illegal screen. If that's on Mahoney, that's his second in the first 2 minutes and change.
And you see here, Fallon's so strong coming with his right-hand hook over that left-hand shoulder. Got to make him come back to his left hand. He's so good. He can dominate the game on both ends, as you mentioned, Jason.
So Mahoney, who got Fallon in trouble in the first meeting, gets in foul trouble himself now early and sits. Nick Havner, who we showed you at the top of the telecast, at a career-high 21. And the comeback win against Lafayette, enters now off the bench. Brown hesitates and hits. Top point guard, 3rd of the Patriot League, or 3rd on the team, 9th in the Patriot League in scoring at 14 per game. That's why Bucknell is so devastating. They have 3 of the top 9 scorers in the league.
And maybe 3 of the best players in the league. We mentioned him in the open. So good shooting the ball for the Bison right now.
One and done for the Terriers. Rebound Moore. McKenzie can't hit the triple try. Moore skying in for the board. And it's Walter White in transition. Javante McCoy, another gifted freshman for the Terriers. Gets a touch, and Havner gets the stop off the nice dish from Woldall.
Well, we mentioned Havner in the open. Off the bench now, senior leader giving them some offensive presence.
Joe Jones talking about his seniors accepting their roles in this team. For Havner, that's working off the bench and effective right away. Bucknell by 1.
Now, you mentioned, Jason, BU starting 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores.
McKenzie diving for it. The last touch by him, it'll belong to the Terriers.
One of the things that 2-3 zone does for BU, it takes away some of the post presence of Fallon. So Bucknell's going to really have to work in that short corner area and around that foul line area to try to get some dump downs and kickouts.
Avi Toomer missed 16 games with a stress reaction in his left foot, shut down for almost 2 months. He's been back. This is 4th game. He'll play about 20 minutes or so, according to head coach Nathan Davis of Bucknell, still on a minutes restriction. And he's been shooting it very well since coming back, primarily a top defensive threat as a freshman a year ago. Super drive, Scanlon at 6'7" as the length and also the speed and hops to be devastating near the cup. Fallon gets another rebound on the offensive glass and stick back. Speaking of speed, Bucknell can really get up and down that court. Offensive glass for Fallon. That's what great players do. Get extra possessions for your team on the road. Lightning quick pace here at the start. Boston U averaging about 73 points per game. Top half of scoring in the league. And a foul before we go to break. Nick Havner coming off a career high. And Terriers. Joe Jones saying Tyler Scanlon has a better understanding of what to do in year 2. Says he's the best playmaker. He's more physical, handles like a guard. And we mentioned 6'7", 215 pounds, 2-sport star. Back home in high school in Virginia. Quarterback, wide receiver in football. And gifted basketball player as well. Havner trying to work against Fallon with the left hand, his dominant side, scores it. I think Joe Jones and his staff have found something. Off the bench, he really gives them a nice lift and little veteran presence in the post. Second bucket for Havner. Fallon. Skip for Brown. He'll get to the paint. Back for Toomer. Brown, 7 of 9 against Navy from 3 in that career-high 27-point performance. And the rebound pulled down by freshman Andrew Petcash, and he's fouled. Another good-looking freshman for BU, nice physical player, but not going to show up in the box score. But I'll tell you what, Nick Havner really battling down there, not letting Fallon get a good touch on the block. Yeah, Fallon picks up his first. Team 3 on Bucknell, 2 personals so far as a team on the Terriers. Havner. Again, we'll work on Fallon. Gets a third try, rejected. The block leader in the Patriot League got the block, and then he walks immediately to the bench because he knows he got number 2 in the aftermath. Did a nice job chesting up early on and not fouling through that first play. You see here using his big presence, arms, playing straight up and down. That's great veteran play right there. Gets away with one there. Block shot there. A nice job by Havner staying with it. Well, that's a concerted effort, it looks like, by the Terriers to go after Fallon and try to get him in foul trouble. Him on the bench makes Bucknell a very different team. You see Sestina coming in the game now. Not the shot blocker defensive presence that Fallon is. Sestina did have 14 points, 8 rebounds in the first game against Boston when Fallon was in foul trouble. Avi Toomer picks up his second, as we see last year's Patriot League Player of the Year. Reduced to being a spectator here, it looks like, for a good chunk of this first half. Both of these teams have depth, and that's probably why they're 1-2 in the Patriot League right now. Goff attacking and gets it off the window and down. Will Goff, senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, battled through some serious back issues a couple of years ago and has become a lethal threat, solid defender here in his final go-around for the Terriers. Strong left hand and left-hand drive for BU. Speaking of lefties, Ben Robertson trying to go strong with a sophomore from North Carolina, Travel. Suk Matone, freshman from Shavertown, Pennsylvania, the Holderness School in New Hampshire, checking in.
Both these schools recruit the prep schools here in New England so well. A lot of these guys do a postgraduate year and a little more prepared for their transition to this Patriot League. And I'll tell you what, the pace of this game is great, up and down from start.
Terriers looking for a season sweep of Bucknell, up by 3. Head catch, dumped down, Havner. Zach Thomas guarding him now, and they get Havner for the offensive foul.
We talk so much about Zach Thomas, who I believe is the best all-around player in the Patriot League, and his numbers certainly speak for it, and we'll talk about that throughout the game. But the other word I use for him a lot is crafty. Right there, he kind of set up that offensive foul a little bit, got the hook, and hasn't really gotten himself going here, and it's a lot of credit to BU's zone. Been very frustrating for Bucknell here early.
And Zach Thomas, 21 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game, leads the Patriot League in both of those categories. He's only one of 3 players, Mo, to lead his conference in scoring and rebounds this year. Marvin Bagley at Duke in the ACC, one of the others, as the alley-oop goes awry. Robertson can't hang on. Jock Landale at St. Mary's in the West Coast Conference is the other guy who's tops in points and rebounds in his conference. As you look at where Thomas lands scoring-wise in the league, but he's only attempted 1 shot so far in the early going in this one. Goff. He had 5 threes in the first meeting of the Bison. Misses on his first attempt from deep in this game. Scanlon. That's 3.
Boy, has he improved. Starts the game with 3 great drives, and then buries a big 3 for the Terriers.
11-2 push right now for the Terriers, who are up a half dozen. McKenzie. He'll ring up 3. Super shooter last year, but still trying to work his way back to full fitness and full shooting rhythm after his injury issue.
And we saw him come back in that second half of that Colgate game, where they really turned it on offensively, Bucknell. He's a big part of what they do.
Boy, Scanlon active again. Zach Thomas will pick up the first foul. Here's another look at the shooting form of the junior from Canada.
Great pass by Zach Thomas as well. Little look off, little ball fake, and then boom, right into that shooting pocket. Great pass by the leader for Bucknell.
Scanlon, 78.6% his efficiency from the free throw line. Already has 10 points. He had a double-double in the win at Bucknell. 14 points and 10 rebounds. As Javante McCoy comes back in for Andrew Petcash, freshman replacing freshman. 1 of 2, and Thomas with a board. Jimmy Sotos, strong take. Sestina with the follow tap.
Best way not to play against that tough 2-3 zone. Beat it down the court. Nice drive there, and Sestina, great athlete in the front court for the Bison.
6'8", 247, beefy junior from Emporium, PA, his first bucket of the game. Eric Johnson, another senior off the bench for the Terriers. Matone twisting inside. Sestina denied that. Sotos wants to push again. Sestina pull-up. Bricked it, and McCoy the board. Johnson trying to go baseline, now wheels it back out. McCoy inside, Matone gets 2.
What a great pass by the young freshman there. A little drop-down pass into the post. Nice seal up the lane to his fellow classmate. I'll tell you what, the All-Rookie League and the Patriot League is going to be hard selection this year.
Boy, freshmen are just lighting it up around the league this year. Well, the old crafty seniors can get things done too.
They're veteran. I'll tell you what, he's going to make money playing basketball. Then he's going to make a lot of money being an engineer. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be a great men's league player someday as well.
He can score in a variety of ways. 8 of 13 shooting so far for the Terriers. 8 of 16 from the floor right now for Bucknell as Boston U gives it away. What we expected from the top 2 teams in the league 2 good shooting performances thus far with the Terriers.
Davis's kicks there today. Get them on eBay tomorrow if you want to.
Do you like wearing them in this game because you could run after the officials a little quicker?
I was a little quicker on the first step to the officials.
So far, not a lot of qualms in this one. The team shooting it strong, and BU vaulting itself back in front with its second 3 of the game. Stephen Brown from downtown.
Nice little set play against the zone, out of the timeout. Nice job by Nathan Davis, and Stephen Brown continues to impress.
Scanlon guiding the way for BU with 10. McCoy pull up, can't get the roll, and we'll head the other way. I believe they'll get Matone with the foul and a shove battling for the board.
Boy, nice looking young group of players and athletes for BU. Mentioned their senior players, but boy, they've got a depth of freshman talent.
First on Matone, third as a team on the Terriers. Bucknell already with 6 fouls, and Brown bags another one.
And there's a mistake by McCoy, freshman mistake. Stephen Brown cannot have a clear look at the 3 if you want to win this game at home today.
Talked to Nathan Davis before the game. Why is he scoring more? And he said, in part because he wasn't shooting it well early in the season. Teams going under screens, and now if you do that, you're going to pay the price.
And they made a mistake there the last possession, as I mentioned, and his confidence is high. And I'll tell you, he is really the unsung hero on this team. He's kind of the engine that makes them go.
8-0 run for Bucknell, fueled by the back-to-back triples from the senior from Manassas, Virginia. And it's Bucknell by 4.
Important possession here. 10 on the shot clock for BU. Don't want to let this game get away from you here at the end of the first half against the powerful Bucknell Bison.
Goff, watched by McKenzie. Scanlon trying to attack Thomas. Can't get the roll. And the rebound cleared by freshman Paul Newman, who checks in for Bucknell. Newman scores it. First field goal of the season for the freshman out of Roman Catholic in Philadelphia, and then St. Andrews at Rhode Island for a year. Prep school hasn't been able to play a lot. Nathan Davis says he's going to be really good, but Bucknell is so loaded.
Well, the senior gave him a nice pass there, Zach Thomas, in the post, and he finished for him.
Abner hanging, can't hit, got his own rebound. In amongst the trees, looking for help. McCoy. Open 3 is good.
Little subtle play there. I don't know if you saw that on TV, but Will Goff with almost kind of a slide pass on that kick out. Terrific pass by Goff to the young freshman.
Brown can't get his third 3 here in the first half. Scanlon driving down the lane again. Off the heel of the rim. McKenzie with pop to the paint. And contact. And a foul coming up on the Terriers. That'll be on Scanlon. Trying to impact things defensively. Joe Jones looking on as his team tries to slow things down in transition.
Throw the ball ahead in transition. Doesn't quite get his feet set. Tough kid, you mentioned, former football player, and do a little of everything. He's really trying to attack on the dribble here against the veteran presence of Bucknell on the drive on offense, though.
McKenzie able to make the first. Sestina will come in to give Thomas a breather. Sotos is ready to spell McKenzie, and Scanlon checks out momentarily for Boston U. McKenzie gets them both, and here comes Sotos.
Both of these teams playing a lot of guys here early. You can tell the pace of this game is heavy. We're heading into the second part of the season, trying to look at some different rotations, but this game's going to see a lot of bodies and a lot of ins and outs here on offense and defense.
And Toomer coming back in, again, limited to about 20 minutes. He'll replace Moore. And Joe Jones pleased with where his team is at this point in the Patriot League schedule. Again, second place behind first place Bucknell win, and the two teams would be tied atop the Patriot League standings. But says defending the big three of the Bison is always the issue. Havner trying to whip that across to the corner for White, and it's tipped out by Sotos. How do you go about defending Bucknell in this triumvirate of scores?
Well, it's difficult, and I think that's why they're playing that zone, that 2-3 zone, try to take away a little of their size. And they've done a nice job getting Fallon on the bench here to start in the first half. But the other big thing about a win here for BU today is they would have a 2-0 series lead against the Bison if it comes down to a tiebreaker.
Certainly would loom large. Havner, short-armed the layup attempt. Brown trying to break down his bigger defender. Count that in the foul. Stephen Brown, when you add the improved three-point shooting and his always flashing ability to get, as head coach says, he's been overshadowed his whole career by his classmates, Fallon and Zach Thomas, who have been first-team All-League guys the last couple of years. But he says, I wouldn't trade this guy for any other guard in our league.
And a lot of credit to him. He just goes about his business. You can see his confidence growing as Bucknell playing well here on the road in the first half.
The top 5 assists all time at Bucknell. He, Fallon, Thomas, all 1,000-point scores. Walter White in the corner. Attacks! Sestina did a good job to influence that along the baseline. Sotos breaking back. Hangs, can't score it, but is able to save it. Brown, dial up another three.
Not much you can say about that one. Tough play.
33-22, Bucknell with a burst to suddenly seize an 11-point advantage. Coming off a career-high 27 at Navy with 7 threes. Stephen Brown 3 of 5 from distance. 13 already in this Bison onslaught on the road. And now the theft. Brown in transition. Can't get 2 more. Havner the rejection, but the follow from Thomas, and he'll have free throws.
How about that? The two-seaters. Watch this. Get up. Get it out of here at the roof. Terrific defensive play, but got to stay with it. And there's Mr. Thomas just kind of cleaning it up. How about Havner? Boy, is he playing hard. And Bucknell's defense has kind of been the difference here, what I see. They've turned it up on defense as a group.
And that's been a theme for the Bison in league plays. Thomas hits the first mo. You look at their overall numbers for the non-conference when they played a rugged schedule. Averaging foes about 76 points per game. Patriot League play, league foes only scoring about 65 points per game. Shooting under 40% for foes, under 30% from 3. They've dialed it in defensively.
They sure have. And Zach Thomas, this guy gets to the free throw line as well as anybody in the country.
Leads the country in free throws attempted, 3rd in makes. He gets about 8-9 free throw attempts per contest.
And that's what great scorers do. Might not be going in, hasn't had a lot of clean looks at the basket. Pick up the garbage and get to the foul line.
The lead is a baker's dozen for Bucknell on the road. Head catch, dumped out. Kick out. Corner look, and Eric Johnson able to rattle it down.
Goff has made 2 terrific extra passes in the half court.
Sweet move, Avi Toomer cutting in and reversing it with his right hand.
The Patriot League highlight afternoon here today for us, Jason.
But Bucknell at this pace, Mo, with 37 here and 6 and change left, is trending towards 100. Goff in the corner. Can't bag it.
Bucknell, they can really get up and down. They have more depth.
Sotos almost telegraphed it. Scanlon couldn't get it. Officials conferring here, and we'll stay at this end. Bison basketball. Joe Jones, who was right in front of him, says he believes otherwise. And now the realization that it is staying this end.
Joe Jones, so much energy and passion on that sidelines. I'm going to agree with the officials. I like to do that once in a while, Jason.
Underneath, score the basket for Bucknell. Just got official clarification. They actually ruled 30 basket for Bucknell. Just got official clarification. They actually ruled 39-27 for the Bison. Soto's tried to force it inside to Thomas. And we have a held ball now. And the arrow will favor the Terriers. So it balances back out for Boston U.
Soto's a little too much there. When you get in that lane, got a jump stop, play off 2 feet, look to try to kick it out or drop it down. And the possession before, Zach Thomas so good at that foul line area, attacking that zone, takes his time, crafty. And big few minutes here for BU. Try to get this lead under 10 going into halftime. So run some offense here, look for a kick out, and try to see if you can get Scanlon another drive.
And again, Bucknell has made this offensive push and explosion and gotten the double-digit lead. Madonna fallen on the bench with 2 fouls since about 5-6 minutes into the first half.
Isn't it interesting? Stephen Brown just kind of knows that he has to kick it up when stuff like that happens.
Now Matone gets caught for the illegal screen, trying to slow down the progress of McKenzie. That's the second on the freshman.
Little bit of a rookie mistake there, trying to set a good screen for his teammate. Got to set your feet, really take your time. This is going to get called almost all the time, moving into the screen right there. Trying to get Goff a clean look.
Under 5 left to go opening half. Bucknell by 12. Sestina. Moore. Return for the big man inside. He'll look to kick it out, and Goff was there. Quick outlet from McCoy. Petcash will try 3. Matone scrambling for the rebound, had it poked out.
Nice offensive rebound there. Got to grab it, be strong with the basketball. Get it up to the rim. When you're playing against the league favorite, every possession counts. Got to take care of the basketball if you're BU.
Abner ready to return. He'll come in for Matone.
It's interesting, the 2 big front court presence, Mahoney and Fallon, have been out the entire first half, really, and the pace of the game has been fast for both teams.
Scanlon for Petcash. Trying to set something up for Habener, sliding to the hoop. Wasn't there. McCoy with 4. The timer switches a 3.
Woo! Javante McCoy, the young freshman from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Did a prep year up at Phillips Exeter. Nice looking young talent here in the Patriot League.
He had 13 of the win at Bucknell. And McCoy canning the big shot here. He's 2 of 2 from distance, 6 in the game. And the block called inside against the Terriers. 39-30. Top 2 teams, the Patriot League.
Play now, and back to the Patriot League. Going to be an interesting February here for us, Jason, as well.
Certainly is. Again, Bucknell, if it wins, will hold on to sole possession of first place. If Boston U wins, these 2 will move into a first place tie. We've seen kind of the 3, 4, 5 spots kind of flip back and forth. Colgate's been in the mix, Navy's been in the mix, Army's been in the mix, but kind of no definitive kind of, I guess, second tier behind these 2, at least at this juncture.
A lot of that middle of the pack will be determined here in February. A bunch of teams had some stretches where they've looked really good, but these two have been the heavyweights thus far.
And again, the better you finish is the better you'll have a chance to host in the playoffs, the better seed host throughout the Patriot League tournament, and the opportunity to host the tournament final for the best remaining seed. Speeding to the hole, but couldn't get it to fall. Bucknell able to win at its home floor a year ago and take that title. And a fun Patriot League final against Lehigh. Boston U thought it would have a crack against the Bison a year ago in the final, but final round. Little ragged here, last 40 seconds. McCoy able to save it, and back from Petcat. Matone trying to swing it across. It's taken away by the Weiss.
Talked into some of the Bucknell assistants before the game during warm-ups. They said the difference in their team lately has been their team defense. They're really defending. You've seen that here tonight. Every time BU tries to make a run, they're in the passing lanes, they're hedging, they're doubling, really aggressive on the defensive end.
Corner look for Thomas. And again, leading scorer in the Patriot League. Hasn't done a ton offensively, just a half dozen. Petcat had it pop out. Thomas forced to pick up the dribble. And BU settling back into that 2-3 zone.
Little veteran play there, Stephen Brown. Letting his teammates catch his breath, run a little set play against the zone. They like that foul line area with Thomas.
Thomas, 5 of the timer. He'll try the freshman and scored on the banker.
I almost have to laugh. I mean, it's just such a typical Zach Thomas move. Nothing flashy, uses his body, finds a way to make a big play when they need it.
Well, BU deep in the shot clock, goes to one of their guys to get to, and he does, and the lead back to a dozen. Scanlon puts it on the deck, working on Thomas, who will get a rejection. 5 left on the shot clock. Don't forget, when we get to halftime, we'll send you back to the CBS Sports Network studio, where Dana Jacobson, John Rothstein will recap the first half here at Case Gym, catch you up on all that's happening in college basketball here. His second here, which he picks up on the final minute of the first half. It'll lead to free throws here for Will Goff. BU just 2 of 4 from the stripe, and Nathan Davis not want to risk anything. They'll pull Thomas here with the 2 fouls, bring Sotos back on for this final stretch for the opening 20 minutes. Goff delivers the first. Nathan Davis chatting a little bit with Bruce McCarthy. Goff got them both. Brown. High arcing 3. Not enough juice. Joe Jones calling a play. And now we've got a little I believe we have a sideline warning there on Joe Jones, leaving the coaching box. They lengthened those this year, Mo, to kind of give coaches more leeway, but they're being more stringent when you kind of move out of those areas.
They're never really long enough, Jason. They're never really long enough for any coach.
And again, we talk about coaches versus cancer wearing sneakers. Probably feel like you want to move a little fleeter of foot.
Yeah, you can get a little running start and then stop a little quicker when you don't have the dress shoes on.
6 of the time. Scanlon. Twisting for 2, no. Rebound Sestina. Bucknell will not hold. They'll push. And McKenzie will get free throw.
Love the way Bucknell getting up and down the court, not trying to face that stingy 2-3 zone.
No, they have the speed to do it. Brown with the lead feed for McKenzie. And Kimball will be at the free throw line. Able to stick the free throw. McKenzie, again, third team All-Patriot League a year ago, averaged 13 points per game as a sophomore. Abdominal muscle tear, tried to play through it earlier this year. Then they shut him down Thanksgiving weekend. He had surgery, missed 10 games, but is back with a vengeance for the Bison. Timeout here with under 10 seconds left. Well, despite just 7 points in the last 6 minutes and 23 seconds, Bucknell could have a double-figure lead as it hits halftime, up 12 here. Terriers with a crack in the potential last possession of the half. McCoy with the take, can't hit it, and it won't go. It won't count at least. Matone scored it, but after time had expired, and the officials wave it off. Sarah sliding back in, averages about 14 per game, and he's right there again. You're Joe Jones. He's saying to you earlier, we played pretty well, but the tempo dictated how things went against his team.
It did. A little too fast for BU as they fall back into this 2-3 matchup zone. Stephen Brown so good. 3 big threes and 3 big steals in the first half.
We remember as well, in addition to Fallen, Max Mahoney, 2 fouls for a Terrier perspective. He didn't play a lot. Can his energy and physicality play a role here in a potential Terrier turnaround?
Well, we saw him last year, such a physical kid, so much energy, so it would be big here that he doesn't get a quick third foul to start.
And Mahoney had no points in the first half. He averages a dozen, second leading scorer for the Terriers. Bruce Moore, speaking of a physical player who can get things done in the paint, 6'8", 213-pound sophomore scores it as Bucknell strikes first in the second half.
That's what great teams do. Find extra possessions on the road, little offensive rebound to start the second half.
Mahoney with a touch against Fallen with the left hand. Quick, efficient for the sophomore from Basking Ridge, New Jersey.
That was a big-time move. Let's not forget, that was against the Defensive Player of the Year and Player of the Year in the Patriot League last year.
And shooting 57% from the floor, third of the Patriot League, is Mahoney.
I think Thomas needs to be a little bit more aggressive here offensively.
8 in the opening half for him. Fallen. Offensive foul. He's looking for the travel. Instead, they'll get him for the push-off, so number 3 on Fallen.
Called him for the little hook around, something that is called all the time, and Nana, just a frustrating afternoon here in Boston.
So 5 minutes total first half, and now plays less than 90 seconds second half and gets back to the bench. Then the speedier lineup for Bucknell paid dividends. We'll see if it does so again as Sestina returns. Scanlon corner 3, Short got his own board. Flashed it to White, his pull-up for the foul line no good, and Brown headed the other way.
I think with Nana out, it just shows the depth of this Bucknell team. They can play a bunch of different ways, play a smaller lineup, and they're so effective.
Thomas can't hit the jumper, and Sestina will pick up a personal. First on Sestina, and 2 quick ones here in the Bison here in the half.
Let's see if they can get Mahoney another touch around the basket.
White, he'll wheel around, too strong off the window, and Brown. Nothing there in transition. Gets Thomas as a trailer, and he'll cash in the 3.
He loves that trail 3. Look at him. Come on, why didn't that go right in the net? Man, come on. It rattled in. That's not good enough.
You know, that doesn't go in as a fast break bucket, Mo, or a fast break 3, but still, you understand how they set it up. Thomas is waiting the whole time to take that.
It also mentions, it's worth mentioning that that's a really tough thing to defend because you got a bigger player now playing Thomas. He runs back in the paint. Thomas trails the play.
Mahoney Nifty twisting too. So we saw the left hand first and now the righty hook at the other side.
Only a sophomore, going to be a real presence in this league for years to come.
Sestina left open. Timeout, Joe Jones. Frustrated.
Tonight, a lot of fouls, but Bucknell already at 51 points here with just under 17 to go.
And again, the versatility of this group, the depth of Bucknell, you understand why this program has succeeded. 6 of the last 7 regular season titles. Last year taking both the regular season crown and the tournament title to get through to the NCAA tournament for the 7th time. Lepore got it back from Mahoney. Couldn't get it off in time. And that's a killer out of the timeout.
It is. You take a timeout. Joe Jones, great timeout there. Talk to his young group. Try to get something set up. Stephen Brown's defense on the ball has really been tough this afternoon.
You forget, we talk about his scoring, his improved shooting. He's also been on the all-defensive team in the league for the past 2 years. Doing a little bit of everything to guide the way for the Bison.
Another guy that's been quiet for Bucknell, and they still got a nice lead here, is Kimball McKenzie.
Jumper on the way from Thomas. Can't keep him down too long. Zach Thomas knocking down his second 3 of the game, 6th of the contest as a team for the Bison.
In that zone, his ability to step out, very hard to defend.
And McKenzie has gotten most of his scoring done. We talked about him being quiet from the foul line. Now the dump down, out of bounds. BU turns it over. Zach Thomas, he's Defensive Player of the Year and Overall Player of the Year. Again, averaging 28 minutes per game. 2nd of the team, 5th in the Patriot League in scoring at 16 per contest. Did have 6 points in 5 minutes before the 2 fouls in the first half. Played less than 90 seconds here, second half before the 3rd foul. He's been sitting, but Bucknell still thriving. And nothing going right for the Terriers. At the other end, Moore can't receive the lob from Thomas. White gets the run out and dunk.
Game is up and down, which really favors Bucknell. A little loosey-goosey with the basketball. For BU, every possession counts now.
Yeah, they had a possession, they get a steal, and then turned it right back over before getting the breakaway dunk. Thomas, short of the 3, Mahoney clears it. Johnson inside, Mahoney gets position in 2.
Shows how much better BU is with Mahoney on the floor because he could score. Really a presence around the basket.
2nd straight assist for Eric Johnson. Sestina from the baseline. That is a nice bring in off the bench for Bucknell with the touch of Nate Sestina.
There's going to be a couple bruises on both those guys. Sestina and Mahoney are 2 tough hombres in this league, banging away at each other.
They'll duel again. Mahoney score the mini win and the hoop.
Bucknell may have to look to double in the post. Mahoney too tough.
Sestina from outside. Can't get the hop on the 3. Brown in there for the rebound. He'll drive, score, and have a chance for the 3-point play. He has been electric.
Might have gotten away with a little hook, but that's what great players do. Subtly gets himself to the basket, knows how to finish, and I'll tell you, we've talked about his offense. His defense has been spectacular. Watch him get away with a little bit of a hook here, a little crafty veteran move, but finishes in the paint. You see here Mahoney, really good around the basket, taking his time, gathering himself. That's where he's really improved from last year. Takes his time, really knows how to finish, and that's what you have to do to be effective in the post.
Stephen Brown. Give him 17 now in the game. In career high 27 the previous outing, and he is backing it up with another scoring show. Mahoney's dominated the offense in the half, but he's on the bench right now getting some refreshment as Havner's back in. Brown getting the deflection. Mahoney 4 of 4. 8 points here so far in the second half as Havner has returned. Petcash. Havner had a couple of buckets first half. Can't get one to start his scoring quest in the second. That'll be Bucknell ball.
BU is really good to start the first half driving to the basket, not settling for jump shots. One thing that does, if you don't get a basket, might get yourself to the foul line, lets you set your defense. That three-quarter court pressure was really good for BU, but another empty possession there, contested jump shot for the Terriers.
Over 40% shooting for Boston. 53% plus for Bucknell. Fallon back in, trying to get him going with the 3 fouls and can't hit the baseline turnaround. Matone. He'll score the back hook. 6'10" freshman. Averages about 2.5 points per game.
Nice hands around the basket, too. Nice turn and finish. Nana obviously in foul trouble, not quite as aggressive as he normally is on the defensive end.
Yeah, Matone has a half dozen of this one. Can BU string together some stops? Brown lobbing it for Fallon.
That's what you do when your teammate's been on the bench, not having a very good afternoon. Run a little set play, pick and roll. We'll look at that again. Excellent pass, Stephen Brown.
Beautiful lob set up. Fallon, his first point, second half. Petcash gets the friendly roll. Freshman out of Pine Richland in the Pittsburgh area.
Freshman, a lot of BU freshmen. Going to be a lot of wins here in Case Gym over the next couple of years.
Cestina. Brown to the paint. Banks it down.
When you're playing 2-3 zone, you've got to contain penetration. Every shot fake, Bucknell is able to get into the teeth of that defense.
Brown, steal, lead feed. Cestina with the left.
Oh! Got it to his left hand. Tough finish against the athletic Havner. Wow. Big time finish for Bucknell.
Now the Bison operating at full assault level right now. The other way, Petcash unveiling more of his arsenal. Count that in the foul.
Boy, I love these young players for BU.
Right now, these two teams top the Patriot League. BU trying to pull even with the Pennsylvania-based Bison. And they got a long way to go. Petcash able to finish off a nifty three-point play. The lead 16 here for Bucknell.
Something worth noting, BU down here, they have 4 freshmen and a sophomore on the court. So this young group getting a lot of experience against the league heavyweight.
Fallon with a left hand.
That's where he's really developed. His ability to come back to his weak hand now. He was not able to do that early on in his career. So improved for Bucknell.
Scanlon. Scanning the defense. And Matone continues to be effective in the paint.
I'll tell you, I like Matone. He's got excellent hands, keeps the ball high, and he plays hard.
He's got 8 now. Boston U, though, can't afford to keep trading buckets. And Avi Toomer, since returning from his long layoff, has been lighting it up from deep. Make it 6 of 9 from 3.
Nice to be able to bring him off the injured reserve to get 6 for 9 threes.
Able to knock one down, give him 5 in this game. In his 4th game back after missing 16 contests with a stress reaction in his left foot. McKenzie can't hit the runner in transition. Still, Bucknell here by 19, Mo. McCoy. Matone working out of trouble for Scanlon. White can't get the follow. McCoy does get the loose change. Matone. No hop. Thomas the board.
Zach Thomas got beat off the dribble quite a bit this afternoon. One of the chinks in his armor, but there he is with a big rebound.
Toomer, Scanlon tying each other up. See if we got a held ball or a foul. It is a held ball. Possession goes to Boston U.
See Coach Jones there, always coaching. Great passion. Won everywhere he's been. Columbia, assistant at Villanova, assistant at BC. Great guy to be around. Love going to his practices. And actually just love talking to him. He's got so much energy and passion for the game.
Mahoney turning in for two and can't hit it. Joe Jones got career win number 200 overall earlier this season. And this team has been in the top half of the Patriot League since joining it. 5th season now in the league for Boston University. It's become one of the bellwether programs in the league as McCoy is able to get the scoop hoop.
Really good-looking young freshman, great demeanor, plays hard. Got great length and size, young freshman from Milwaukee.
Thomas backing down White. Toomer. Fallon looking for the flush. Won't go on the dunk, but it still does fall and won't.
Put it on the highlight reel. That's just brute strength against a really tough defender. You see the drop off here. Two strong guys going at it. Put it on the highlight reel. I don't think Max Mahoney will like that one, but I'll tell you what, he contested it. Physical presence, and Nana, easy guys, easy guys. I got it. I got you.
Wow. Going strong. Those two have done battle here last couple of seasons. And Fallon gets it to fall on the free throw. Again, suddenly 6 and 5 minutes in the first half. Limited time here, second half. And he's got his point total up to 13. Mahoney right after Fallon. And gets it done.
I love to see that. There's determination. Don't hang your head. Tough play on defense. Come back on offense.
And now Thomas, quick two, and another chance for a three-point play.
We see this play again. This is what makes Zach Thomas so good. Not the biggest jumper, not the fastest guy, but throw the ball ahead. He's got great hands. He takes his time, shot fakes, get the defense up in the air, and what a finisher he is for Nathan Davis. What a job he's done throughout his time at Bucknell.
Thomas at the free throw line, senior from Maryland. Unanimous first team All-Patriot League pick last season. Most valuable player in the Patriot League tournament too. And right now, Mo, if you had to pick a player of the year in the league this year, he would be the overwhelming candidate.
I don't have quite the votes, but I'll tell you what, permanent marker, Zach Thomas, circle it, exclamation point.
Again, this back and forth affair. Bucknell's lead as folds to 21. And a hit for Scanlon for the baseline.
Nice to see his game develop. He really would have shot that three last year all the time, but he'll put the ball on the deck and hit that mid-range jumper.
Fallon. Thomas. Bucknell is just going to school now in the paint with its senior stars. Donna Fallon, Zach Thomas, Stephen Brown. Hammer away here at the Terriers. Jason Atmo Becerra, Zach Thomas at the free throw line. Bucknell showed so many different looks in this game, Mo. Again, it's a quandary for coaches in the league to try to figure out how to play them. We've seen the up-tempo game. We've seen the three-point game. We've seen now the attack in the paint game, whether it's Sestina or Fallon or Thomas. What do you do?
And I also think one thing I'd add to that, too, Jason, we've seen that defensive presence kind of step up. This team kind of getting serious now as we head into the second part of the league, and you see Stephen Brown hawking the ball. And let's also note, you know, this would be their 7th straight road win. How many coaches in the country would sign up, say, we've won 7 straight road games? I mean, that just shows the dominance of this Bucknell team.
Again, seniors, experience, battle-tested. Last year with their run to the Patriot League tournament, and this year in the non-conference. Mahoney on the turn. Thomas gets the rebound. Again, Mo, first 8 days of the season, as Bruce Moore is able to lay in 2 more. Bucknell played on the road at Monmouth, at Arkansas, at North Carolina, and at Maryland. They didn't win any of those games against 4 teams that last year, that 4 that they opened up against, won 110 combined games. Walter White shredding cord on that 3. But since then, Bucknell has gone 14-4. And the potential for an 8th straight win overall today.
And you can do that with a veteran group. You can take them on the road, play a lot of tough, high-level opponents. You get some wins. It helps your RPI and your numbers. If not, it helps you for games like this and runs like this where the season comes into full swing. Boy, you've got experience and depth.
Brown. For the last 2 games, 46 points and counting, make it 48. 6 assists, 7 steals. He's 10 of 15 from 3, Mo. He's committed no turnovers and no fouls.
I have to laugh. He's having fun, isn't he, Jason? You can just see his energy level, his effort on both ends of the courts, and his pushing of this team is just incredible.
Yeah, the Patriot League success here, a recent run for Bucknell, has been so strong. 6 of the 7 last regular season crowns, 5 tournament titles. You look at all the deep pushes in the Patriot League tournament. 2 seasons ago, well, you wonder if that was a galvanizing thing for Nathan Davis and his group. They won the regular season title in Coach Davis's first year, but they became the first top seed to lose in the quarterfinal of the Patriot League tournament ever. They lost in double overtime to Holy Cross. Crusaders continued their run, a 9 seed, 4 road games. They won en route to going to the NCAA tournament. But that was the sophomore seasons for the likes of Brown, Fallon, Thomas. And since then, they've become dominant in the league.
Yeah, what Bucknell has done year in and year out, go back, coaches that they've hired, what they've done, Coach Flannery, Coach Dave Paulson, now George Mason, done a wonderful job, and Nathan Davis has just carried the torch.
Brown. Get the sense he's expecting them all to drop in his current form. White, Moore, just smoked it off the glass. He'll try 3. And got it.
He brings some shooting off the bench, but you know what else? He brings some toughness, too. He really brings some toughness. He's intense, hard-nosed, nice extra skip pass. And how about the defensive presence and shot blocking of Bucknell today?
Goff able to score it the other way. That's what has to drive you nuts if you're an opposing coach trying to defend against Bucknell. Bobby Toomer last year jumped into the starting lineup as a freshman. Primarily just a defensive guy, but now he's developed his shot, and all of a sudden that's somebody else you have to worry about as a scoring threat.
They've got a lot of different options. I think when you see defense like this, and how about Bruce Moore? Watch this. Just physical, long, athletic, ability to defend the rim, and there's another really tough role guy for Bucknell. They've got so many weapons, and it's their team defense. I really believe that is now kind of separating them from everybody else in the league.
Follow to the baseline. He'll work over the freshman and make it look easy.
And that guy helps.
Again, when the Patriot League Player of the Year a season ago, essentially in this game has been a complimentary role player, tells you all you need to know about the power of the Bison. And Bucknell watching BU get something done in the paint, but content to trade buckets at this point. Under 4 to go, and Bucknell on its way to a 8th straight win and its longest winning streak in 5 years. More.
58% from the field for Bucknell. Hard to beat anybody when you're shooting 58%. You see those guys getting a little rest here with 3 minutes to go and some subs and some young faces we're going to see for years to come with the Bison.
back-to-back games of 87. Got 87 against Navy last time out. And chance to exceed that coming up here for Bucknell. As Sotos drains the triple.
Freshman on both ends of the court. Getting a little run.
White didn't get a chance to chat a lot about Walter White, but a huge get for Joe Jones.
Big recruit from the New Haven, Connecticut area, and a couple of real nice flashes here. Long, athletic guy, and getting a lot of experience in this rivalry. Boy, these two teams seem like the last couple of years have just had so many battles.
Certainly have. Bucknell, though, has had success here in this building, looking for a fourth consecutive win. Nate Jones on the floor for Bucknell, leaving off for Robertson, and Ben is fouled. Speaking of Nate Jones, his dad Mike in attendance, which is a rare thing. Mike Jones, a busy basketball guy, head coach at Radford in Virginia, and coming off a tough one for a coach last night.
He did. I spent some time with him before the game, and he lost a tough one to Charleston Southern, but what a great job he's done at Radford, somebody I've known for a long time, recruited against him. He and his wife made the trip up here to Boston to see their son play. Said he gets to see him play about 2 or 3 times a year, obviously. Tough for coaches to get on the road, but nice to see him, and probably nice for him to have a little break and be away for a day.
He and wife sharing up to check out on Nate on the Bison, as Havner goes after it again for the Terriers. You're Joe Jones. How do you work with this game going forward? You come in, you won 2 in a row, you get a chance at Bucknell, chance to jump into a first-place tie, team you already beat at their place on the road, and you come to your home building, and frankly, you get drilled.
Well, I think, like Joe said, in the first half, they didn't really play that poorly. Just Bucknell played so well. It's really going to be their defense. That's where they're going to have to step it up if they want to beat Bucknell. Can't let a team come into your gym and shoot 58%.
Robertson off the bench has the ability to get in deep and score. Sophomore from North Carolina.
Great athlete, too, for Bucknell.
White able to get it to go and one. Yeah, the hold on the inside. So Walter White with a chance to add to it.
3 freshmen out there for Joe Jones. I like Walter White. I'll tell you, he's long, he's athletic, probably can play 2 or 3 positions before his time's done here at BU. And nice demeanor, plays hard, offensive rebound. Shown he can make a 3 and make free throws, and I'm going to see him make a lot of those over the next couple of years.
Jordan Sechin, freshman from New Canaan, Connecticut, will get some time here for Bucknell, the tail end of this. And an offensive foul. Paul Newman, we saw 4 shorts out of the first half, gets called for the personal. John Meeks, freshman from Burlington, North Carolina. You hear Nathan Davis talk about a couple of these freshmen that don't see a lot of time. Says they're going to be really good players. There's just no room and no time in the rotation with the volume of high-quality talent and senior experience on this squad.
We mentioned what a good team. We've talked about it throughout the game. What a good team Bucknell is. But that's the sign of a great program. When you have freshmen that have to earn playing time, watch, learn, and then step into a new role every year, that's the sign of a great program. And that's what Bucknell is, and they have been for years now in the Patriot League.
Kamali Chambers, recruited walk-on, given Boston U some quality minutes throughout his career.
Boy, his brother was a good player.
Siani, 4-time All-Ivy League player. Not far away from here. Across the river at Harvard?
Across the river, as I like to say, Jason, from my time here in Boston.
Got 90 seconds left to go, and Bucknell going to move to 9-1, solidify its standing as the first-place squad of the Patriot League. Newman put it low, got poached by the Terrier defense, and Goff collects it. Matone wanted the flush, couldn't power it down. And a push coming on Matone. Back, check it. It's a kick basketball. And it'll be BU's ball here with 1:06 left to go. Joe Jones's team will look for a turnaround here against Loyola on Wednesday as the three falls. Petcash has done some good things in this game, but Loyola, one of the teams that BU fell to in the first half of the Patriot League regular season.
I think BU being so young, they're going to have a few ups and downs. Like this team going into Bucknell and winning just shows how talented they are, and they've had some stumbles along the way as well.
And even more impressive, you talked about the success for Bucknell. 6 of the past 8 games have been on the road, and they've handled their business. Yeah, they're 9-1 in the league. Now 5 of the next 7 are at home for the Bison. That begins coming up midweek against Army West Point, with Lafayette to follow next weekend.
CBS Sports Network will be making some trips to Lewisburg over the next couple weeks for sure to see the Patriot League front runner, Bucknell. 7 in a row on the road. Wow.
8 straight overall. Again, we mentioned that non-conference harrowing schedule to start the year. They came through with some wins after that. Beat a Ball State team that took down Notre Dame in the non-conference. Vermont looking strong in the America East. Won at Richmond, did the Bison. Beat LaSalle from the Atlantic 10.
And we saw Richmond. There's another team that's playing so much better in Atlantic 10. Chris Mooney, another really young team.
White. Nifty drive for 2.
I like him, boy. He is athletic, fearless, great size.
For the Bucknell Bison, last 2 games averaging close to 90 per contest, 87 at a win at Navy, 91 on the road here at Boston University. Nathan Davis's team operating at a ultra high level.